Hello, we are a team of archaeology students from Nicolaus Copernicus University in Torun. With this poster, we want to present some of the scientific projects conducted during the experimental archaeology course at the Institute of Archaeology and show the value of students' research. Experimental archaeology has been an important part of curriculum for many years, and multiple projects were performed within the course. The first example covered the topic of Upper Paleolithic rock paintings depicting human hands. They are known from many archaeological sites, such as Lascaux in southern France, Altamira in northern Spain, or Cueva de las Manos in southern Argentina. Dean Snow conducted the research which showed that sexual dimorphism in the human hands mapped there may be expressed strongly enough to determine the sexes of the census creators. It turned out that the paintings depicting human hands were made mostly by Paleolithic women. The aim of the experiment conducted by NCO students was to verify the results of Snow's research. The experiment showed that the collected data regarding the length of the index finger and the ring finger of hands and their contours were similar for women and men. Given it and the necessary margin of error, students concluded that the method proposed by Snow was insufficient to determine whether Paleolithic hand stencils belonged to women or men. Another of the experiments conducted by students was cooking the hide. The experiment's main purpose was to verify the considerations of Michael Ryder from 1966. Iconographic sources from 14th and 15th centuries attest to this meat processing method. Unfortunately, Ryder's experiment was unsuccessful. The purpose of the experiment was to verify it again. Students tried two methods of boiling meat in raw hides, putting the heated stones in it and using the leather bag suspended above the fire. The second method turned out to be the most efficient. It can be concluded, contrary to Ryder's study, that cooking the hide over a campfire can be effective. The main factor was the small portions of meat, which were more easily cooked. One of the experiments was related to processing and decorating arrowheads made of antler, based on finds from the medieval site in Grzybowo, Wolin or Niemcza. It aimed to test the time and difficulty of making those artifacts, as they were sometimes interpreted as ceremonial objects and they could require special skills. Due to the little experience in antler processing of students, it was decided to make simpler forms of arrowheads with a hollow interior sleeve. After the selection of suitable material, processing of the raw material began. The total processing time was 2.5 to 3.5 hours. In all probability, it can be said that the arrowheads were not manufactured only by specialized craftsmen. The working time depends on the manufacturer's experience, but the making itself is possible for a beginner. The last experiment was related to old techniques of dyeing fabric. Only vegetable dyes were used. The archaeological evidence of using vegetable dyes traces back to 36,000 years ago, and many finds are described in the literature on Viking Age Ireland, Denmark, Norway, etc. On those artifacts, the use of madder, bedstraw, lichen, sward, and unidentified plant resulted in achieving red, purple, yellow, and indigo-colored fabrics. Students reconstructed the possible techniques of dyeing wool and linen fabrics with blueberries, red cabbage, oak bark, onion skins, and red beads. It turned out that all dyes were effective in the dyeing of wool and linen, but the process did not always result in the expected colors. Both blueberries and cabbage used for obtaining blue color dyed the fabric purple. What's more, beetroot and red cabbage dyed the fabric very poorly, despite the intense color of the solution. In contrast, cherries and blueberries dyed it much more intensely, despite the bright color of the solution. Overall, wool turned out to be more prone to dyeing. It helped us in understanding the topic of ancient clothing, especially while doing some reconstructions. And thank you for listening. We hope this poster shows that scientific projects conducted by students could be valuable. Even relatively simple experiments can broaden our views of some issues in archaeology. And for more infos, we encourage you to read the NCU's Experimental Archaeology newsletter.